David, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for an amazing presentation and for making me even more excited about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, if that is possible. I was here back in 2019. I tell this story many times today, but I came in 2019 with a feeling, I came very skeptical because, Microsoft didn't release Microsoft Flight Simulator for a long time. Then there was something that seemed too good to be true, and I left Renton with this feeling that, wow, I was blown away. I didn't come skeptical, but I didn't know what to expect. And after seeing the presentation, I have to tell that, your part of the presentation was one of the ones that made me even more excited about the product, because I think that you are covering several spectrums of the audience that you're just hitting the nail. From the person that is more casual to the guy that is more hardcore.
And sometimes, by the way, all of us can sometimes be each of those profiles,
Exactly.
Because we are not playing every day the same type of game all the time. We are not linear behavior. I mean, human behavior is not linear. Sometimes we are the casual guy. Sometimes we just want to chill, and sometimes we want to go deep into the scene. So yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. I was just giving some context to. To those that will read the interview or from me, or even from my own notes, and for you, and also for you to understand the persons that may ask you the questions. So, I was really very excited about the career mode, and there were some things that I'm still thinking about, how they will work. And there was something that you talked about, which was the repetition system. And from my end, what I understood, the repetition system ends up locking some kinds of missions. So you have to progress through the repetition system. Is that something that we need to go through? Imagine, okay, I want to play the missions. I don't care about the repetition system. I want to be able to fly the harder or the more advanced missions. I don't have to do that curve. I want to go that curve. I want to actually, play those missions without this need of going through this path.
You will not miss a lot. You will just miss secret mission, I would say. I mean, to go, basically, there is two, at this stage, for sure, there is two type of activity which is basically beyond the gate of the reputation, is the remote cargo transport thing, with the A400M plane, where it's a very specific type of... Sorry. Are we okay? I need to maybe come like this? It will work, you think?
Yeah.
It's not risky? I mean, if you have no sound, you will be frustrated. And scientific research mission, which is all about tornadoes. We wanted those missions to be, like a sort of a reward. So that's the reason why it's a little bit behind. But there is more, I would say, meta system, which is basically the money you will gonna have. It's basic, if you are considered by the, in real life, as a good professional, people are happy to pay you more because they know you are a better professional. So basically, your level of reputation will basically just make you at least earn more money when you are doing a given job. So yeah, it informs several aspects, but there is nothing. I mean, you will gonna have a good experience even if your reputation is very low. It's not. It just encourages you to be a better pilot. For real, honestly, playing myself the career, I guarantee that I forgot about those systems, and I just try to be a good pilot. Because when you see, I could have done better here and here, and it's more the fact that it tells you how good was your flight that actually tease you to basically fly, being a better, that you are trying to be a better pilot, that actually drives the thing. It was clear or no?
I think it was. It is locked, but you won't miss a lot.
No.
Eventually manage to play. I have to say that for me personally, it may be for a bit frustrating because I want to get those advanced missions. Because I don't care about the career mode. That's the thing. To be honest with you, the career mode for me is something that it's not what excites me, but the mission system that you developed. it's what excites me, because like we were talking earlier today, the fact that the missions are not scripted, that they are created procedurally, that for me is a huge point. And I just personally, I don't like to see them locked behind something. You know, I just like I do now. I imagine that I'm flying a certain mission. I want to be able to fly that mission inside the sim, but I don't want to go through that path. I don't want to go through a career, you know, that forces me to fly certain things. Like, for example, I was talking to Sebastian. The very first mission of the challenge, of the very first thing you do when you start the career mode, you fly a Cessna 172. I'm a helicopter pilot. I don't want to fly Cessnas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to do all my career with helicopters. I don't want to have to go through Cessnas. So for me, it's just, I think it may be a bit frustrating for some people in the community.
Yeah, you will be frustrated maybe half an hour.
Okay.
Because half an hour later, you will be able to pass your aircraft certification, and you're going into your aircraft certification path.
Okay.
You know, very fast you will unlock. I mean, honestly, you will, you know, what we have to keep in mind here is the fact that we basically looked a lot of the data, how people were used to play mission pack, action pack, or other type of carrier system already available on the market. And for real, everything which is uncrafted, we play so much, you know. I mean, the flight simmer community plays so much that this content is actually burned so fast. But it's true also for our carrier. All those gates, per se, can be passed pretty fast, and very soon, I mean, in 10 days, you know, maybe even a weekend, you will have already opened so many things in the carrier that this problem will gonna be behind us. I mean, really, when you actually experience it for on the long run, I would say you know, you will not have to, as in real life, be a pilot during 5 years to actually potentially pretend to change your career path. It's not like how it works. So, and I would also add that, as I was explaining during the presentation, we did a lot of user research. So people play the carrier, and we observe how they behave, and without this landing phase, this training bed, in order to understand not only how a plane works, but also how the system works, how all those things are blend together, interact with it. So, you know, it's required. Otherwise, people are just lost. And it's true. I agree with you that the you know, flight simming has always been something very, you know, you take your plane, and if you don't know if you don't know how it works, you basically have to go into the forums and basically learn by yourself. You know, it's very harsh. And if you are not yet passionate, it's almost like what we call the cliff. It's like, okay, I flight sim now, I'm in front of my cockpit, and I'm like, wow, what I'm supposed to do. We wanted to really smooth this for people in order to let anyone be able to become an actual simmer at the end. Yeah. And this requires a training bed, but we have done lots of shortcuts in order to let hardcore simmer go as fast as possible to the type of experience they want to do.
Okay. Callum still needs to ask his questions, and okay,
yeah,
so
he's starting to look at you like.
So I have several questions. I just have two questions that I would really like to ask, and then I'll just pass to Callum. And one of them I think is going to be very, very, very quick. We're going to have firefighting missions in the career system, the career path. Are you eventually thinking about having these kinds of missions or other kinds of missions? I see firefighting missions to be probably the ones that would be easier to do as a multiplayer thing. You know, me at home, Callum at his place, me flying a helicopter, he crashing his helicopter. And right. You will provoke the fire in the forest. You know what I mean? You know, there's an area that is burning. Instead of just one pilot, can we have 2, 3, 4 pilots? Is it something that we could see in the future?
We studied this a lot. We know that actually firefighting, because we met, those people who actually do this job, and it's clearly one of the most collaborative and collaborative,
Yes.
type of flight experience you can have. There is not that many where you need to coordinate, except except the squadron flight, where you need to really coordinate with different type of airplane, as you were saying, the helicopter that basically overview the situation and basically give the order. It's almost like an ATC of the fire. We know all of that. It was too much at this stage. We clearly want to go on this path, but the amount of energy that is required to make it right and true to life and accessible was like, wow. We would have done only this, basically. It's super complex to really make it happen, where at least we can start with this first step, with what we propose, which is single player. But yeah, we are looking forward to push the multiplayer aspect at some point, but I cannot even say when. It's in our mind. We actually designed some stuff related to that, but it's something, at some point we need to prioritize some stuff.
That is exactly the question I was hoping to get from you. So, yeah, because I wasn't trying to get you to say, yeah, we're going to do this next month or next year. My question was, are you thinking about in the future? Is it a path? Is it something that you have in your mind to do in the future? Because I know things take time. My background is of a developer, so I know things take time, right? It would be one thing for you to go, oh, we never thought about it. But the answer that you gave me is exactly what I was hoping for. You thought about it, you looked into it. We will eventually, in the future, do it. But right now, it's impossible. Last question, okay?
Designing is most of the time killing ideas.
Yes,
I know. Because it's the amount of ideas actually is huge. We can do so many things, and it's so deep. So
I know, David. Okay, last question. Like I said, one of the things that got me really excited was the fact that the missions are created by the system. But at the same time, this is good. This is a good thing, in my opinion. But at the same time, I was hoping that people could create their own missions, and this seems to kind of take away that ability. Is it something that people can still do their custom missions, or will be able to do in the future? Or is it something that you thought about it? Are you removing that? Are you possibly including that in the future? What are your thoughts on this?
Same answer.
Okay.
Lots of thinking around this. Lots of systems have been made in order to, at some point, receive a sort of mission editor thing. Not ready yet, so it will come in the future. It's something Jorg and me are talking about this all the time. We know it's it's as pleasant and as thrilling to actually create a mission than actually play it. So yeah, it's let's say it's in the pipe. It will come, but I cannot say when.
Brilliant answer for me.
That's the issue with you guys. We
I'm
do.
Happy. I'm happy. What can I say? Again, I know things take time. And
Yeah.
As long as I have the notion that it's in our horizon, that there's the seed is there. I know the development team will eventually make it happen.
Because we have worked a lot in order to make the missions varied in what we call the world awareness. It's like, depending of the place you are, names are different, character is different. Obviously, the world is different, weather is different, everything. And you will see while playing, it's crazy how the career leads you to explore, to realize how even even the A to B missions can be completely different because of all of that. Even the voice, the voice are different. I didn't mention that, but the voice, each character has his own voice, almost, let's say. So when you hear the ATC, the ATC has not the same voice than the ground control, which has not the same voice than the instructor, which has not the same voice than the client you are transporting. And when you switch to all of those guys, and in the new mission is something else, it's like it gives really life to the product. I forgot what I was saying this. Yeah.
So the design of custom missions.
And that said, despite all those efforts, there is some case where we cannot. You will talk about, if you want to, Jorg, about the Junkanoo Festival, which is something that happens in the Bahamas. And it's the example we are taking with Jorg when we are talking about it would be so cool that someone who is passionate about something can create a mission that really brings something that, data cannot imagine, because real world has always more imagination than anyone else. So there is so many tiny things, and every day we talk about this even with the team. Oh, it would be so cool if. And at some point, at this level of precision, variety, and specificity, the community will at some point bring something even more varied to the career system. And I think we are looking forward for it. So yeah, one day we're going to do the editor tool.
Okay.
One
Thank
day.
you. Thank you very much. Callum.
I mean, you asked pretty much my entire list.
You are so
It's up to you
welcome.
to be creative now.
Do you want my bank account number now?
I mean, so I spoke a lot about the missions and stuff, but one of the coolest aspects I think was this kind of like career tree progression type of thing. And specifically, so I went to Gamescom last month, and it was amazing to see so many kids and young people really interested in flight simulation, but you could tell they were just like jumped in, flew a plane, and then just kind of gave up. So how do you see like this mission, the career system, and like getting your pilot's license and your commercial license? Have you had much input from pilots and like real world people to make that both accessible but also kind of realistic for people?
Obviously it's a sort of sweet spot between all the constraints,
Yeah.
But the certification tree, for example, is based on actual real life sort of certification, but for example, the exam for even just for a PPL, private license certification is already very long if you really look at it, how it works and the amount of things you need to understand in order to pass your exam. That obviously it's never as complex as it is in real life. That said, what we try to do here is to force people to at least understand what they are doing at a given moment of the career in order to at least have good foundation. Because what we have observed is that if you let people go too fast into, I want to do the firefighting, actually if you are not able to land a plane, even a simple one, how can you even pretend to land smoothly with the new water system Sebastian was talking about? Now you will really bounce on the waves, so you need to be super gentle, to light a little bit the nose of the plane, to not lose your speed too much. It's actually much, much more complicated than an actual landing. You just look at the people trying to do it. If they do not have the good foundation, it's a no-go. They will forget about it instantly. It's too hard. So it's one of the things we are, I believe, the most proud of, and which have even taken by surprise member of the team, is like people realize that doing the career, they are actually getting better at being a pilot and understanding better what is aviation. A good example is even the way which was actually even, talking about me, the pattern to enter into an airport area, and do you go directly in long final or do you do a teardrop approach? All of those things. When you fly in real life, you are a little bit behind the plane, and like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? All those things, even just as simple as this, to put you in the right context to actually land properly and confidently, it's super important, and the career does that, I think. It really step by steps makes people comfortable about what they are actually doing and understanding the reason which is behind the process. You understand? You get my point?
Yeah.
The reason why, precursor have actually invented all those procedures, there is a reason for that, and you can feel that step by step you understand that, and you are able to apply and then become better at what you're doing, and then we can open the door and let people explore different things.
Excellent. Oh, photography mode. So I tried it earlier. So cool. So I've always loved kind of taking pictures.
I love you saying this.
Like the fact that we can look around this room and like this is all taken from the sim is awesome. So when I take a picture, what happens with it? Does it go to like some cool server and there's going to be like some sort of big
photo album? Okay. You have a photo album.
Beautiful. So I can go back and look
exactly.
over it. Have you ever considered making like a big website for people to just scroll endlessly and see gorgeous pictures of everyone's sim stuff?
We will see. There is different scenarios with this. So, but let's start with what we have right now.
Sure.
You will gonna have your photo album, and it's actually pretty cool to look at it because you will actually. It's a bit like in real life, you know. You look back at it and you're like, oh my god, I remember. I was doing this. This mission was crazy. The weather was.
Right.
You know. Something I, by the way, didn't mention is the fact that the picture I was talking about, the picture challenge I was talking about, it's a transversal mode. What I mean by this is like when you start with the, like directly into the photographer mode, you are there for that, and it's presented like it gives you an objective. But let's pretend you are in carrier mode, and you see a deer on the runway. You take a picture of that. It will be part of your collection. It will, boom, you got it, you did it. Which is cool because typically, especially with the animals, you know, they are not everywhere. You need to really find them, which is so cool. So it's cool because the serendipity of real life happens in the game also, and this game mode is informed by the other game mode. You know, you follow me?
I could be in free flight and I could take a picture
Exactly.
of the Golden Gate Bridge with
Exactly.
the moon and I would still get that little tip.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, that's cool. Because someone was asking me about that, and I was like,
Yeah,
"That's really awesome."
it's really transversal. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, and then my final question.
You will not be guided in free flight. We want to keep simmers away from the
Sure.
from the dedicated game mode when you are photographer game mode. But if you do, and if by chance you, by the way, do all the stars all together because you've been lucky, boom, you are gonna have it. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's really cool. And then, so the missions and stuff. Is there anything that we haven't yet seen that you can talk about? So I know we've seen like the tornadoes, and we've seen air ambulances and rescuing mountain climbers.
There is lots of type of activity we still have in the pocket, I would say, that will not going to be presented at least at launch. We'll see how we will manage that after, but there is lots of different type of mission we have to think about. But either we need another plane, or a specific device, or a different scenario, or a technical thing. So, or it's not done yet, so it's another thing. Again, we had to do some choices. But there is more to come, let's say. But for what we have right now, I would really say that which is hard to actually perceive, especially in the time frame you had and with the bug we had this morning, I will never insist again enough on the fact that you feel that the world is much more lively than it is in free flight, because. For example, the ferry flight mission, which is the scenario of the ferry flight is, someone, because of bad weather, someone has to land his plane somewhere, which was not expected. And you are the guy who will fly back the plane at home, let's say. What is cool with this is that you will start from a remote runway in general, Basically, the idea behind it is the guy has to land, so because of an emergency, bad weather, whatever. And so you can even start from a runway, from a farm runway, like a very, a grass runway and with a specific cliff and blah, 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 all these things. And the guy who you are in contact with is an actual person. You will see the character systems. Every single client you will gonna have as a pilot is a different person with its own name and his voice, and the livery on the plane. It's a different. I mean, there is not an infinite amount of livery, but the only fact that suddenly you pilot the plane of someone else, with a different livery, it works. And all those little things put all together, you feel like you are actually in the real world. So it's really cool. And it's something you cannot convey this in a trailer or even a presentation. You need to experience it to really get it. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Super exciting.
It's a pleasure. And I mark my words. I mean, we are a little bit in our caves during 4 years, and suddenly we have the chance to exchange with you. So it's cool. Always a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
We thank you for doing that and for doing that before anyone else. It means a lot to us, especially because we love this so much. We've been in Simmers for a long time, and it's really a passion. And just for the record, photography mode is one of my favorite new modes. Definitely it is.
And I love what you're saying. You know what? Because to be honest, at some point we were like, simmers may find it a little bit too casual or too light, but actually it's a bit like the challenge mode. You will see. It's just a part of it, a different part of us, but it actually, sometimes you are the guy, and same thing in Asobo. Some simmer were not interested, by the photographer mode because I want the little avionic things to work perfectly, and it's part of the thing. But suddenly you're like, 3 days ago, I have someone saying, "Oh my God, David, I played the photographer mode. It's so cool." So because it's actually cool, and you will discover things, which I like. Yeah.
And I can remember it as a memory.
Yeah, it is. There's just one thing that I would probably change. Of course, there's just one thing that I would change, or I would make it optional. I love the mode, okay, but it gives me a sour sweet taste because we start in the air near the location that we need to photograph. I would like to have the option to
start from an airport.
Start from an airport. Look for the
It's a good
location.
point.
Because that's part of the exploration. I like the photography mode because it will take me to places that I probably wouldn't go, but I would like to actually explore that path into that
But if it's in
location.
free flight and you're still going to get your little reward.
Yeah, but you need to know, but you probably are not going to fly there. It's not a matter of reward.
It's perfect. You know what? This discussion was happening. You would be François. No, you would be Damien, and you would have been François. The exact same discussion happened internally. And it's a feature we have in the pocket. It was just too complicated to make it on time.
Okay.
So, but maybe at some point we will update this.
Because I like the fact that the photography mode takes me to places I wouldn't probably fly at, right? So it shows me a mountain or animals, but I would like to, do that path of actually.
Let's say what he was saying is actually true. If you can do it if you want. But
I know, but you have to know that there.
Exactly.
You have to see, okay, this exists,
Exactly.
and then you go to free mode.
it's a let's say it's a walk-around,
Yes, you can see. Okay, we won't take any more time.
Thank you
I'm
so
sorry.
much.
Cool.
I just you come on, I just want to babble.
It's passionate.
You used to say I'm crazy, now you're saying I'm passionate. Okay, that's nice of you.
Polite.